You've probably passed it. Nestled on the craggy slopes of the Reach, between the grandeur of Markarth and the misty borders of the northwest, sits a settlement that barely makes a sound. No guards patrol it, no grand quests revolve around it. Most players barely spend 5 minutes there, and yet it has a name, Karthwasten. It sounds like it should matter, like it once mattered, but that it just doesn't anymore. This is the story of a town caught between ghosts and gold, a place with no Jarl, no glory and no future. This place could possibly be the loneliest city in all of Skyrim. You don't stumble upon Karthwasten with any fanfare. There's no radiant quest that pushes you towards it, no courier handing you a letter, no urgent rumour whispered in a tavern. You just arrive. 3 buildings, 2 smelters, some tired workers, and 2 mines that no one seems eager to enter. It doesn't look ruined, but it feels like it should be. The architecture is still intact, the land isn't cursed, and yet Karthwasten gives off the quiet melancholy of a place that was forgotten while still being lived in. The trees feel like they're listening. The stones remember more than the people actually do. Skyrim is a land defined by borders, political, divine, cultural, and almost every major location fits neatly into a faction. Markarth belongs to the Silverbloods, Whiterun serves as the battleground for the Civil War, Winterhold clings to the College for relevance. But Karthwasten, it's not really claimed by anyone. Technically, it is still part of the Reach, but it has no governance, no steward, no guards. It's a free town in a game that rarely allows places to exist without ownership. And that's its first danger, because when no one protects you, anyone can, and someone did. If you visit at the right time, you'll walk into the middle of a heated argument between the town's leader, Einethach, with 2 Silverblood mercenaries. They want control of the mine. They say it's always belonged to their family. Einethach insists otherwise. There's no resolution without you. You're the deciding factor, and no matter what you choose, whether you let the Silverbloods take over or drive them away, the game just moves on. The mercenaries leave, or they don't. Einethach thanks you, or he doesn't. But the mine keeps operating, the people keep working, and no one ever really speaks of it again. Even in victory, Karthwasten remains voiceless. There are 2 mines in Karthwasten. Both are small, both are basic, and yet both are worked by a handful of weary NPCs who seem like they haven't left in years. There's no hidden treasure, no buried artifact, just iron, silver, and exhaustion. What makes it unsettling isn't the danger, it's the mundanity of it all. Every miner here talks like someone halfway to giving up, just trying to make ends meet, hope the Silverbloods don't come back. You're not in a battlefield, you're in a holding pattern. Karthwasten isn't dying, it's enduring, and that might just be worse than death. If this town were to have a heart, it's Einethach, a Reachman by blood, a Nord by survival. He owns the mines, oversees the town, and keeps the peace. But the game never lets him become more than that. He has no family, no political reach, no alliances. He's a good man in a bad position, trying to hold on to a settlement no one respects, in a region ruled by people who want him gone. Even if you help him, he fades back into his loop. He wakes, he walks, he worries. Like the town itself, Einethach is both vital and invisible. The Reach has always been a contested territory. The forsworn attack from the hills, the Stormcloaks want Markarth, the Imperials want to hold it. And Karthwasten? Karthwasten just waits. It never gets attacked, no forsworn raids, no Civil War battles, no dragons to send. You'd think that makes it peaceful, which it does, but doesn't at the same time. It makes it kind of empty, because the quiet here doesn't come from its safety, it comes from its irrelevance and its isolation. Skyrim's wars pass over Karthwasten not out of mercy, but out of indifference. Even the game forgets it exists, and that makes it even more lonely than it already is. Lore nerds know the name Karth shows up elsewhere, Karthspire, Karth River, Old Roldan. The name has history, and in older Elder Scrolls lore, Karthwasten was once a thriving trading post, a site of importance. That's not really what we see in Skyrim, however. We see the remnants, the dust, the outline of what it might have once been. There are no ruins, but there are echoes. There are only 3 buildings. The way the mine's positioned, the absence of a central building. It feels like a city that once had a spine, and now it's just kind of a ribcage. And the game never says why. It just leaves you here to feel it. Most towns in Skyrim have a shrine, or at least an altar, a symbol of belief, a thread to the divine, but not in this town. Despite its long-standing name, despite its proximity to the ancient Reachman traditions, despite the weight of myth and blood in its soil, there are no gods here. No Talos, no Kine, just rocks, wind, and people too tired to ask for help from anyone, mortal or divine. It's spiritual silence, and in a game that's built on so many prophecies, that kind of silence is deafening. More importantly, even though Karthwasten is a small town, there's a child, a daughter. She has no dialogue, no schedule, no story. Well, because she's not there. She was kidnapped by the forsworn with her parents longing over her return. And that might just be the most tragic thing of all about Karthwasten, because every other child in Skyrim either dreams of something greater or fears something worse. If you look at any other child playing in Solitude, or in Dawnstar, or in Riften, they're having fun, they're running around, and they don't worry about anything. But this girl, well, she's gone. She doesn't know there's anything else, and no one teaches her otherwise. Even though Karthwasten does appear on your map, it doesn't lead you anywhere. There's no radiant bounty here. No courier will send you back. You won't be told to find a lost artifact in its mine, and no companion will say, let's stop in Karthwasten. It's a name on a map that means literally nothing after you click it. Yes, there are a few quests that do bode as some excitement, but however, the isolation of it all makes it different from every other major settlement. Because at least when you forget Roekstead, the game still reminds you. However, Karthwasten never calls you back, not even to say goodbye. But the pieces are all there. A Reachman leader caught between cultures, a town without allegiance, a mine at the centre of a power struggle, a child with no voice, and a legacy erased. It could have been a forsworn stronghold, or a hub for rebel miners, or a haven for those caught between the war. But it's none of those. It's a village that the narrative drives past, a branch in the road that no one chooses, and that's what makes it so powerful. Because Skyrim is a world of chosen ones, and Karthwasten reminds you of the people that were left behind. Karthwasten isn't abandoned, but it might as well be. It breathes, it functions, it exists, but it doesn't live. And in a game where most towns scream for attention, through quests, through music, through blood, Karthwasten just sits in the hills and waits for someone to remember it, for something to happen, and for the silence to break. But it never does, and that, more than any monster or mystery, is what lingers. Because sometimes the scariest thing in a fantasy world is the town that the story forgets.